let's do it. Chapter 2. I was still sitting in awe when my friend grabbed my shoulder. I slowly looked over at him. Sean stared back at me, his face filled with panic. He began to yell at me and point to my right, but I heard no words. My mind was completely blank. It was as if time slowed down, as if everything was moving around me, but I wasn't moving at all. Then Sean knocked me to my senses.
Alex, follow me. We have to go hide.
It all came like a punch in the face. The slow time finally sped up again. Everything seemed to be going at a quicker speed, but before I could fully take in my surroundings, Sean had me by the hand and was pulling me to the back of the classroom. Then he brought me to the piano in the back of the classroom. Yes, I know it seems odd that there is a piano in the back of my classroom. Honestly, I have no clue why it is even here. But honest...
He sounds really defensive about this piano. Like,
Guys, there was a piano there, I swear.
Everybody has a piano in the back of the room. Don't judge me.
Please believe me, there's a piano.
don't ask me, like, there's a piano and it's in the back of my classroom, honestly.
But honestly, it seemed like a godsend right now. A few months ago, there was this kid in my class. Well, long story short, some kids were roughhousing and he fell into the wall. Part of the wall collapsed inward, and since the space between the walls of the classrooms is hollow, he created a hole into this thin space with support beams. They haven't been able to fix the hole yet, so the teacher just places the piano right in front of it, so you can't see it.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's a justification.
Were you ever just in first grade and you were messing around with your friends and then you fell through a wall?
That's such a weird justification for a piano there. Like classes usually have posters, but a piano?
We ran to the piano, and with our combined strength, we were able to move the piano out just far enough for us to squeeze into the hole. Then Sean yelled,
Hey, someone, come help us move this.
as I said this, what? As
I said this. That's
Take your
quoted,
time.
isn't it?
Take your time.
No, wait. It says,
No.
Sean yelled that, and then it says, as I said this.
Oh my god!
As I said this, Richard was running by. He heard me. He stopped and looked at me, puzzled. Richard, just push the piano into place. He stared at me with a blank expression on his face. He was analyzing the situation, trying to come up with a solution. Come on, Richard, please. I whispered. Oh. Okay, let me reread this in the way it's supposed to be. Come on, Richard, please. I whispered. He shook his head.
I hope you die in this hole, Alex.
He pushed the piano over the hole, plunging us into complete darkness.
This is crazy!
No, you're whispering.
Oh, okay. Crazy.
I heard Sean whisper next to me. Sean didn't seem to care about Richard's previous comment. Throughout my life, I had gone through this drill so many times, yet I always knew it was fake, that there wasn't actually something bad happening. But this time, I knew it was true, and just the thought of it made me queasy.
What are we gonna...
Sean started, before I shh him. I could swear I heard footsteps around the hallway. I wasn't close enough to the hallway to know for sure, but I had a gut feeling. I wasn't the luckiest guy in the world, granted, but I've been having a good streak lately. I guess it is some sort of way of the world saying that my time for luck is over. I hated the feeling of not being able to see anything, even though whether we had light in here or not wouldn't make a difference to our comprehension of what was going on outside. It would make us feel like we did, which was better than facing the reality that we couldn't. What?
Hold on, I have a question.
You got confused there. Scroll up a little bit. That
Wait,
entire...
when was it established that you were lucky?
It wasn't.
Yeah,
It was just established.
Having a stroke.
I've had a good luck streak recently. I got
Time for
a
luck
test pass.
was
My
over.
friend just told me to die in a hole.
Alright, let's continue. My thoughts were interrupted by a noise. Thump, thump, thump. It was a knock on a door. Now, I am equidistant from the door of the classroom I am in and the one right next to it, but I knew which door it was. It was the door to the room of my math class. Thump, thump, thump. What was going on? What was I going to do? We were well hidden, but the other people in my class weren't. The only thing I could do was sit and hope that they would just walk by and think no one was in here. Of course, I knew they wouldn't. Thump, thump, thump. My nerves were beginning to kill me from the inside. What if they get inside? What if they decide to see if someone is hiding behind the piano?
Hey, boss, you want to check out behind that piano? There's nothing.
That's
Crack it
another
open, boys.
boys.
Back in, boys. We shot up this school. Let's go.
I hear they had kids in pianos these days.
This ain't it, Chief.
What?
I like the idea of the teacher just opening up the door, like, check behind the piano.
What if they find us and kill us? I had to keep myself together. I had to assure myself that everything was going to be okay. That in a few hours, I would be at home with my parents. Everything will become normal again. If nothing bad ever happened. As if nothing bad ever happened. Or maybe this is a one big drill. They will come on the loudspeaker and thank us for participating in the drill. But I knew that none of that was going to happen. This was not a drill, and there was no going back to my parents. There had been silence for a while. Maybe they had just walked by, but I knew that was too good to be true. Unfortunately, I was right. Smash! The glass above the door smashed. I heard screams of terror coming from the kids in the class. The kids sitting so close, yet so far away. They came... Then came another sound. Click. They had gotten the door open. Then I heard a voice overpower the silence of the classroom.
Okay, everyone, stand up and get in a line. Right here. Now!
This voice was not the same one that was on the announcements earlier. It was completely different, but still
Hold on.
just as
I know
scary.
what's making-
I heard a lot of feet scrambling around the room. They were clearly trying to get into the line as quickly as possible. Then I heard silence. Everyone was in the line.
Count them. Make sure everyone is here.
It was the voice again. Then, what felt like an hour seconds later, someone spoke up.
Boss, we're missing three on the head count.
I could hear the fright in his voice. He was clearly fearful of his boss, but his words did raise a question in my head. Where is the third person? In all the panic of everything, it had never occurred to me that there was a chance someone had the same idea as us and found a good hiding spot, too. I wondered where he was hiding.
Well, according to the attendants, they should be here. So here's what I have to tell you. Why don't you search this goddamn room and find them?
He screamed at the man. It was obvious that their search began because I started to hear things being moved throughout the room. My anxiety went from pretty high to extremely high.
Don't you hate it when that
That's
happens?
intense.
I could feel my heart beating in my chest. What would happen if they looked behind the piano? Would they kill us? Part of me wanted to say no, but my gut knew the truth. If they found us, I knew things wouldn't go too well. Then the noises stopped. Silence fell over the room. What was going on? I had no idea. My nerves began to get to me. I could feel them. Why had they stopped?
What's up with that whole section before was about with my anxiety went from pretty high to extremely high? No, he's telling us he could feel them. His nerves?
What, you don't have your anxiety isn't just a lever in your head that goes from pretty high to extremely high.
Yeah,
You know, I'm surprised. It was
I
from
have
pretty high to
two.
extremely high. Usually it goes from pretty high to super high, but even right to extremely high.
oh man, my heart is
Still
out.
high.
And he
Get the
tells
whole
us
level.
I feel it. I love Alex so much. He's like the most descriptive kid. He'll tell you things multiple times.
He's
Sometimes
so-
within the same sentence.
Twice.
Yeah.
That was the primary thought in my head.
God damn it, that's funny.
Why
Oh
had
my
they
God.
stopped? But everything was quiet. Too quiet. Then there was a loud shuffling. I heard some things being pushed around. Then I heard a scream. It was very loud. It was a scream of Bobby, and he didn't sound happy.
I love how in your head you wrote this and you're like, just in case the reader gets confused, I'll let them know in this school shooter situation that Bobby is not
The
satisfied.
scream
I
of
love it.
Bobby.
Bobby ain't
The
doing
scream
too
of
good
Bobby.
right now.
I know that.
He was not happy.
This
It was
not
the
all.
scream of Bobby.
Alright, I got. Help! Help me, someone!
I winced as he yelled.
The case of the vapors.
I knew no one would risk themselves in order to help him. No one here in this classroom was even remotely selfless. I wish there was something I could do,
My pain, Mom.
but there wasn't. And I knew deep down that even if there was something I could do, I wouldn't do it.
What a good character. I love this guy. He's
That's
a great
Bobby again.
protagonist right here. A real hero. Don't just stand there staring at me. Come help me. I need you.
But he was cut off. All I could hear was a deranged, muffled noise. Then I heard a slam on the floor. After that, the muffles only got louder.
We found one, boss.
It was one of the boss's friends. And rather than fear in his voice, I heard a little bit of happiness. Then I slowly heard footsteps. They were stepping closer and closer to where we were hiding. Step, step, step. I knew he didn't know where we were. He probably was just walking towards Bobby. I hope. Step,
That's
Step.
fucked up.
step.
He's like, I hope it's not me.
The closer they got, the more muffled noises Bobby was making. But then they finally stopped. Then the boss spoke.
Now, boy, are you stupid or something? Now stop struggling and make those noises.
After he said that, the noises only got louder. They were like screams.
Nah.
Then I heard a loud noise. Thump. Right after that, I heard Bobby groan. I heard a little bit of mumbling throughout the room, but they ignored it.
I told you. Did you listen? No. Now I'm gonna figure out who you are, and you better pray that you're important.
It was the voice of the boss, and he sounded pretty angry.
Now, name?
After I heard him ask the question, I was almost sure Bobby would never tell him information like that. Why would he? It would be a very stupid thing to do. Letting these people know your identity, but it didn't seem like he had any other choice. And I think he realized that.
My name is Robert Dung.
He said it calmly and collectively, as if he wasn't freaking out anymore, as if there wasn't a bunch of crazy people about to kill him. The response to this was not at all what I expected.
Well, your services are not necessary. Kill him.
Then Bobby went crazy.
No, please, don't do this, please. Ah!
But he was cut off. Bang.
Oh my god!
I needed to process. I needed to process the moment to process what just happened.
That's what it was. That's what the line was.
Shooters win.
I
Fatality.
need to process.
I needed to process a moment. Like, in that moment, he's like,
Process
alright, I gotta
what you
figure it out how time works.
Alex is
We're on
such
a
an intellectual that he
couple-
doesn't think about his
Right
thinking.
now.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
Bobby was just killed. I felt a tear run down my face. He was dead, just because he hid. This made me fully realize the situation that would occur if they found us.
Go find the other two. Now.
His voice seemed to get scarier and scarier the more he spoke. I couldn't. I couldn't.
Like on purpose. Like he's just like deepening his voice, like rah, 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 rah. Like every time he speaks a little bit more, like just trying to freak out his crew.
Yeah, he just keeps intentionally doing the fake deep voice.
Yeah.
I
Like
couldn't-
in Infinity War with Star-Lord. Yeah.
Like he goes in the mirror each morning, like, am I scary enough? Am I a scary enough villain?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
couldn't see what
Be
was
a better
going on, but I didn't hear his posse move.
Sir, we can't find them anywhere. We searched everywhere. They might not be even necessary. Wait, what? They might not even be necessary. They could.
He suddenly stopped talking. I wasn't sure why, but he abruptly stopped.
Okay. Okay.
The boss paused.
If I call your name, I'd like you to make it easy for us. All you have to do is step forward.
He cleared his throat slowly and calmly.
Richard Netson.
I was shocked, yet not shocked at all.
What if they come?
Richard repeated. This made me fully realize who these people were and why they were here. I heard footsteps. Then I heard some footsteps running quickly. Thump, thump, thump.
Wait, hey,
Richard began to scream aloud.
what do you want? What the?
Then his speaking turned into more gargling noises. They had gagged him.
Take him to the
Oh,
office.
gagging. My bad.
The noises he was making became more and more frantic. But the footsteps returned, and the fainter the footsteps were, the more frantic the noises, until finally the noises and the footsteps ceased.
Okay, now, I only need one more of you. Then I will leave you alone. Will Alex Fletcher please step forward?
As they said my name, I shook my head. They found me. Alright, good job, guys.
Dun dun dun.